This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. Tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some Knicks news for you. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier press conference. We'll take a look at some of the upcoming dates for the New York Knicks, some early schedule announcements. It's going to be fun. It's going to be dope, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get with it. I got Andy. We got Cornerstone Kev back in the building. And it seems like it's been years since we've seen this guy. That's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Andy, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What up, Sam? What up, Kev? What up to the chat? Happy to be on. Like you said, now we're going to have, maybe not a couple of days off, but it's going to be after Summer League. This is the window that, we got to find that content for, to us to roll and create. We got something planned for you guys already. Let's hope all is going to pan out and we're going to make it till the season.
Yeah, man. We got a lot of stuff planned. So, guys, pay attention. Be ready because we're going to have some fun things planned for you, without a doubt. Before I even go into, talking about this press conference, and we're going to listen to clips from the press conference and then discuss those clips. Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably seen the video I posted earlier today. I'm going to say it to you one more time. Evan Fournier is willing to go out and jump on some people's podcasts. So make sure that you tweet them, right? And I got a link to that particular tweet in the description of the video. Make sure that you tweet them and say, hey, jump on NBK so we can have a nice roundtable discussion with Evan Fournier.
I want to jump. Hey, I want to jump on the pod couple.
Well, you got to let them know that. You got to let them know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, Evan
I don't know if
Fournier.
we can handle both of us.
Listen, Evan Fournier is already ingratiating himself with the New York Knicks fans and making himself maybe somewhat of a fan favorite just by doing things like saying, hey, I'll jump in on a podcast, throwing a little bit of a shot at Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Doing some things like that. He's already ingratiated himself with the New York Knicks fans, ladies and gentlemen. So, and he said some good things in the press conference today. Of course, Kemba Walker said some good things in the press conference. And we are going to break down and talk about it. You guys ready? Or any last things you want to say before we jump into it?
It's just good to be back. I've missed everybody. Salute to you, Steph. To you, Andy. Salute to the chat. It's great to be back. I was on vacation for a little bit, down in my second home of Orlando, and it's just good to be back. I just wish I didn't have. I wouldn't have missed any of Summer League because that was the buzz. Everyone's been more excited about this Summer League than I've seen in a long time. So sorry I missed that. But when I hear about these rookies, I hear Tibbs is going to have a hard decision on, where to fit these guys in because they're that good. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He is. He's going to have some thinking to do when it comes to the rookies. But let's get to Kemba Walker. All right. During the press conference, they kind of went back and forth, but we got it split up. We'll focus a little bit on Kemba, then we'll focus a little bit on Evan Fournier. All right. And one of the first questions asked to Kemba Walker is about the pressure of playing in New York City. And this is what Kemba Walker had to say.
Not really. I mean, it does feel different, though. Like, this feeling has been like no other. Like, I'm just randomly getting goosebumps. Like, it's an unbelievable feeling to be able to come home. As far as added pressure, I don't think so. You know, as long as I'm in a good environment around great people, nah, I'll be fine.
All right, so there you go. That's what he said. No, he'll be fine about added pressure of playing in New York. I want to ask you, Andy, before we, do you think with Kemba Walker coming to New York, his hometown, is there added pressure on Kemba Walker to produce? What do you think?
Listen, I think there's always pressure while playing for the Knicks, and that's not a doubt. Being a hometown kid, I think it's a little bit more on the plate, but I think a guy like Kemba can handle it. Listen, I was feeling pressure on the first shows that I was joining you guys on NBK. I was like, oh my God, I gotta go take a shower after the show. I was like, stressed out. But I think, after a few games, he's gonna be cool. And I might, I could see the first game or second game that he's really gonna have some maybe crazy turnovers that we're not gonna see down the stretch. I think it's not going to be a problem for him. Let's remember he's a 4-time All-Star. He was a franchise player for the Charlotte team, so I'm guessing he can handle it.
Okay, Kev, what do you think, man?
Hey, listen to what he said in an environment that he's comfortable in. If you can't be comfortable in the place that you lit your team, because I assume that he was a Knicks fan back in the day. If you can't get comfortable in the most famous arena, I don't know what to tell you. I think he's going to thrive here. I think the environment's going to be great for him. I don't think he doesn't feel any pressure. He might not say it, but he might feel it a little bit inside because he wants to be that wow person, especially the first game against the Celtics. He's going to want that. So I don't think he's going to feel too much pressure, but I do believe that he wants to put on, one of the best shows at Madison Square Garden because this is his home.
I definitely believe that. Yeah, he wants to come home and do it for, do it for the city, do it for the Knicks, do it for the fans. You know what I mean? He knows what it's like. And I definitely believe he wants to do it. He was also asked about, you remember, a few years ago, the Knicks were trying to make a move to get Kyrie Irving, to get Kevin Durant. During that time, it got out that the Knicks didn't want to bring in Kyrie Irving while Kevin Durant was still rehabbing. And there was some thoughts that maybe Kemba Walker would come to the Knicks instead of Kyrie, and it would be Kemba and KD. Right, so he wasn't asked particularly about that situation, but he was asked about being close to signing with the Knicks a few years ago, and this is what he said.
Yeah, I was pretty close actually. It just didn't work out. I always, I talk to my friends, my family. Sometimes we talk about, possibly maybe at the end of the career, finishing with the Knicks. I just never seen it really ever happen. I just had no idea. But now, yeah, it's the most unreal feeling. Like, I can't really explain it. I can't really put it into words how amazing this feeling is being back home.
And you hear him, ladies and gentlemen. He can't explain it. The amazing feeling of being back home. And Kev just goes right into what you're saying. He wants to do it. So,
yes, he does.
So while there might not be that pressure, I don't know. I mean, he seems like a very, very cool. He's always seemed like a very cool, even keel, laid back type of dude. So maybe that pressure isn't there, but he wants to do it for New York. It's no doubt about it.
Sure does.
He wants
and
to.
And here's the other interesting thing about Kemba. I've never known throughout his career. I've never known him to be a malcontent or a guy who. I mean, he's been fiery. I have seen him be fiery, especially against us. But I've always known him to be, an even kill dude. And for us, for what the direction we're going in, I think this is just the best time to have him right now. I know he's not like your Colin Sextons or none of these other guys, but for what we're trying to do, he fits right in for what this team needs, is a point guard that can penetrate, that can shoot, and that can distribute the ball.
Well, I mean, he definitely fits that bill for, right now, and especially right now at this point in his career. And I don't have the clip, but he was actually asked that, if this is the perfect time in his career for him to be in New York. And he, just like, yeah, this is the perfect time. And it probably is, given, what happened in Boston. Not that it was, just overly super bad in Boston for him. But he ended the playoffs with an injury. There's talk about, can he be the same Kemba, this and that. Now he gets to come home. I'm sure he's putting in extra work to make sure his body is right, and he can produce. The way that he wants to produce. Any thoughts on that, Andy? Before I go on to the next clip.
No, we can go through.
Okay.
Hey, just real quick on that. What you just said, Sam. I'm gonna tell you right now, those Brooklyn, New York games are going to be lit, especially if Kyrie is somewhat, healthy, to play. Him and Kemba going back and forth. That's gonna be sick.
Well, you know what? We had a big conversation last night. Where Uncle Fulio jumped in and, Kemba is he's no competition for Kyrie. Why are we this and why are we that? Get out of here, Uncle Fulio, if you're watching.
Yeah, I kind of saw that too. I just shake my head at times. I mean, again, we always go after the stargazing stuff and everything, and people always got to say stuff, and I don't even pay attention to it, man.
Uncle
really
Fulio.
Uncle Fulio. Yeah.
Well, anyway, Uncle Fulio, we're all fans. And Kemba Walker understands what the fans are like in New York. He talks about it right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kemba Walker on fans in New York.
I'm gonna be honest, it happens everywhere. The fans don't like you, they don't like something, it don't matter where you at. To be honest, and I'm from here. We got the best fans in the world. Like, I know what's up, So I'm not really worried about that, because I know what he's gonna bring. I know what I'm gonna bring, and I seen what those guys brought last year. The intensity, the passion of the game. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
And there you go. He gets it. He knows what's up with the fans, and Kemba Walker's not going to allow anything it'll be like water off his back, I think. You agree, Andy?
Yeah, listen, I think he's too much of an experienced player. Not only all-star, he's 31. He's been there, seen it. He's not a rookie. And he knows the city. So, I don't think nothing's going to be shocking for him. And I think he has his expectations as well, as far, as fans having expectations for him. So I'm thinking that he can deal with it with ease.
Yeah. I think, with ease. I don't think he'll have a problem at all. And look, the fans, people already love him because he's from New York. And he's a homegrown kid. I don't think there's going to be an issue with Kemba and the fans at all. He's going to come and play. He's going to play hard. He's going to put on for the city. It's not going to be a problem. Now, obviously, we know, he's got a knee injury. And there's a lot of questions about, his health and his knee. And those are legitimate questions. Here's Kemba Walker on the health of his knee.
I feel great. My knee feels great. Obviously, I haven't been playing as much like in the season, but Yeah, I feel really good. I haven't had this much time off in a little while, in a few years, to be honest. So, it feels good to get this rest, as well as, just to, take this time to get my knee right. So, I'm planning on coming in and feeling super good. Continue to feel super good. Yeah.
Yeah, Andy, do you think that this rest, this time off that he's had, is going to do? I mean, I'm asking you, do you think it's obvious, right? It's going to do his body well, having his time off. Hopefully, it's going to do his knee well. And he'll be able to come in and give us a really, really strong year. But load management is going to be essential for him. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And, everybody knows, every Knicks fan, the positive, the negative ones. We all know that only thing that can derail Kemba's career as a Knick is a, big injury to that knee. And if it's going to be, bring him back to like 80%, 90% of the player that he was before the injury, that's still way better than what we saw last decade, basically. So I think fans going to be happy with that. I just hope he doesn't have that in the back of his head that, listen, only thing that can screw me is that, getting that injured this knee or the other knee or, any kind of other injury that's going to, put me out of the game for a bigger period of time. So I just hope that's not lingering back in his head because, sometimes mentally, if you had a major injury, like for example, I had, a torn ACL, I came back and I was like, the first game, cool. The second game, cool. The third game, I like forgot everything and I re-injured it, right? So that's a huge thing that I hope that, he's going to be playing freely, but also considering, not going that kind of wild out and getting crazy about it, because I rather have him at 90% than reverting to even Deuce McBride. No offense to him because I love him, but if we would be have to be looking for a point guard to sign as a free agent just to fill in the third spot, that would be a bad thing for the Knicks.
Yeah. But what you said earlier when you started commenting, the best point guard we've had in the last 10 years. That's without a doubt. I mean, he's got to be the best point guard that we've had since...
Maybe it's 2 decades, right?
2 decades, since Marbury, right? Probably since Marbury. I mean, we had Jason Kidd, but, Jason Kidd was... He was old.
Last legs.
He was old.
We had Felton in that one run that he was basically a borderline all-star, but he never he couldn't tie Kemba's shoes in that time. So let's be true about it.
Yeah. So that's the injury is definitely a concern, but the Knicks did a good job, ladies and gentlemen, of stacking the deck when it comes to point guards, because you got Kemba, you got Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickly, Miles McBride now, Jokic, who he's not going to be playing this year, but he's stashed overseas. I'm not sure, though, about Luka, Andy. I'm not sure about Luka. I have a feeling that Luka could be waived and Jericho Sims could take a spot.
Yeah, I told you guys at the beginning, when we basically reported it, right? He's a cool guy, but, I don't think that he can break a rotation, crack the rotation for an NBA squad. And with this Knicks roster, I think it's going to be really hard, not to mention the contract situation. He's the only... I resent that. That that was the only thing. So yeah, but but Sim, just to be on the Luka topic, just to get it out of the way. Listen, even if the Knicks waive him, cut him, whatever's gonna be the process, right? He still won. He got the money that he wanted. He got the contract bought out. Now he's like the free agent. Even if he goes back to Europe, he can just pick a team that he wants to go. and
Right.
his rights are still with the Knicks.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah. Well,
listen,
that's true. He still won, and he's still in a pretty good spot. So that's good for him. Speaking about Kemba Walker and his knee injuries, he was asked about back to backs and if he would be playing in back to backs, and this is his response.
You gotta ask them. Ask Tibbs. I forgot the question. I'm gonna lie. What was the first part of the question?
Evan on the roster.
I mean, I think we're gonna be really good. With my ability to get in the lane, hopefully I can, draw multiple defenders and just get rid of the basketball. Trusting my teammates. I know this guy right here is gonna, light it up for sure. He's gonna shoot the crap out the ball. So then, we got a bunch of young guys, who we just drafted who are really, really good, who I've been really impressed with, watching Summer League. And, some of the other young guys who's been here, the guys from last season. Me and Evan, we plan on coming here, just bringing some leadership and just adding on to what they already got going.
And ladies and gentlemen, Evan Fournier was kind of asked that same question about being better than last year. Let's take a listen to Evan Fournier, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. This is Evan Fournier on being better than last year.
I mean, the goal is to be better for sure. But when you start a season, it's hard to put a numbers of wins. I think you have to get the right approach and take it day by day, and work and see where you can go. But I feel like when you put a number, it can also put a ceiling on what you can accomplish. So I think the mindset is just to come in and work and do the best we can and live by that pretty much.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, and that is right there. That is Coach Thibodeau speak. You know what I'm saying? That is what Coach Thibodeau, he embraces that same mentality. Come in, put the work in, and let it go from there. Tom Thibodeau said it all last season. Put the work in. Put the work in. These guys, they put the work in. What was the saying that he had? I can't remember the saying now. Something that has to do to work with work. Now I can't remember it, but it was always do the work. Do the work. The magic is in the work. That's what it was. The magic is in the work. Evan Fournier right there spitting that same mentality. From what you know of Evan Fournier, Andy, is he a hard worker? Does he put the work in?
Yeah, definitely. Not only because he was coached by Steve Clifford, which is a close friend to Tibbs. They basically have really similar tactics and schemes that they ran their teams. I think that he even mentioned that when he was with Orlando or with maybe with the Celtics that Tibbs was already there when he joined the Celtics. I think that was the exact quote, that he met Tibbs when he was on the Celtics. Kemba had the same situation. He saw Tibbs around when he was playing in Charlotte. So he's definitely a hard worker. Even last night I found a mini documentary on YouTube for Fournier. It showed with the camera around him and when he was with the Magic, like a 20-minute video. Definitely, listen, he wouldn't be in the NBA, drafted in the 20s by Denver, still as a European player in the NBA if he wasn't be a hard worker. So
yeah, no doubt about it. And then we kind of skipped to that because Kemba Walker was talking about being better than last year, and this, things kind of jumped around a little bit. But he also talked about the process of free agency and how, things went while he was in the Olympics. Take a listen to that. This is Evan Fournier kind of talking about that process of free agency being in Tokyo.
Well, it was a little bit different for me because I was obviously in Tokyo trying to get ready for the Olympics, and the day we agreed on the deal was the day of the quarterfinal. So I was really just talking with my agent, and he was letting me know what was basically on the table and what were my options. But I mean, it was pretty clear to me that New York was going to be the team for me, and it made it easier because I didn't have to spend much energy and I could just focus on the Olympics.
New York was the team for him, and we seen a clip yesterday, Andy, where he said, well, actually earlier today, not yesterday, earlier today, where he said, French fans know it, but New York has long been a place where he's wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I find it. Maybe you can answer the question for me, Andy. I find that a lot of players that come from Europe want to play for the Knicks. Is there a specific reason why? Is it because, New York is known to the world like a Paris is known to the world and stuff like that? Is that the reason why?
Yeah, I think that might be one of the the biggest reasons. They have those communities, those neighborhoods that the whole people from a certain country just stack around, live around, and live in that certain community. Polish people have those communities. I bet every kind of nation, when they try to get to the States, New York might be the spot that they try to get through to the States, right? So I think that's one of the basic reasons. But then again, listen, it's the Knicks. It's the Knicks. It's something, one of the biggest teams, not to mention in the richest franchise and all that stuff. But I think it's like all players say, it doesn't matter if it's European or not European. Also, American players say it's the stage that you want to play on. So it's even easier for those guys.
Yeah. He's here now, and I always like it when a player says, and you get a lot of players to say that they want to play for the Knicks, but when someone is like, here's a team that I've wanted to play for a long time, that they're gonna give you their best.
Yeah, and Sim, I saw that, because I follow a couple of French guys. I don't understand that much of a French. I just use the translator and stuff like that. But I saw the clip. They pulled out the clip when Fournier basically he was a young kid when he was saying that he want to play in New York. So I saw that video. The only thing I understood was New York. Then I translated the rest. But I understood that part.
Yeah. And this is Evan Fournier, ladies and gentlemen, on last year's Knicks. And, what he's seen with the team from last year. And I think there's some interesting questions to be had about the chemistry and how these guys will learn to work together. And that question was actually asked in the press conference. This was actually a pretty good press conference. Take a listen.
Well, it was a hard team to play against. They played hard, they played with discipline. What they was going to do on the court, and they executed extremely well. And teams like that are hard to beat because they don't beat themselves, and you really have to play well to beat them. So looking at a team like that, it's clear that they had togetherness, that they practiced well, because throughout the season they kept getting better and better. And as a player, that's exciting because you want to be a part of a group that works and that wants to win.
There you go. You want to be part of a group that wants to work and wants to win. And that was the epitome of the team last season. A group that wanted to work, a group that wanted to win. We're expecting Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker to come in and exemplify those characteristics. We got G-Man in the building. I haven't seen G-Man in a while. Glad he's here. G-Man, what do you think, man? Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, they coming in. They're gonna be they're gonna bring that same thing that we had last year.
So
why are you going to Yosemite, Sam? I mean, really?
here we go.
Sheesh.
Why are you going to Yosemite, Sam?
I need for you to be seen and not heard right now. Just
I'm gonna make myself heard. You messing with me?
button it up, Kev, button it up. But first and foremost, Sims, thanks for having me on the panel. I would say this. I would say I'm optimistic in the fact that Kemba and Evan Fournier have chemistry from when they played in Boston. Mm-hmm. I hope that translates into what we have going on with the Knicks in the upcoming season. The fact that we have pretty much the same roster that we had last year, with these two added to the equation, and in the starting five, with Mitch coming back, I'm pleasantly optimistic. I'll say that. So, at the end of the day, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. The only thing that I'm really the thing that I'm really let's say solid and confident in is the fact that second unit. The second unit is the same second unit we had last year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm confident in right now. I have to see, how the starting five kind of unfolds. I want to believe that when we get a Fournier and a Kemba Walker, that chemistry they have, that it translates into the chemistry of the Knicks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it will. I really do. And here's Kemba and Evan Fournier talking about gelling with the team and how to build that chemistry. Here's Kemba.
It's going to be fine. No, me and Evan, we are two very, very unselfish guys. We just going to get the ball moving, find the right shot, play some defense, try to get some stops. I think we're going to gel super well. I'm super easy to get along with. So is Ev. So it's going to be fun.
Well, first of all, I think you need to learn each other, what guys do best, what they enjoy, where they're efficient on the court. And then after that, it's just playing free, driving kick, just making the right play, not holding the ball, just playing good basketball. It sounds simple, but at the end of the day, you just have to be willing to do it. That's it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you got to be willing to do it, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe both of these guys are willing to do it. And, as soon as they get with R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson,
mm-hmm.
They'll start working out exactly how, things are going to flow. Let me tell you how I think it's going to fit, though. One, with Kemba Walker, you have Kemba Walker, a guy that can obviously score the basketball, something we were missing from the point guard spot last year. He's not the best three-point shooter in the world, but he's a competent three-point shooter, right? Something that we were missing from that point guard spot last year.
Right.
And then from the wing position, when you're talking about with Evan Fournier, he's going to provide shooting just like Reggie Bullock did, but he's also going to provide the ability to score off the dribble. He's going to provide the ability to slash to the basket and score. And then he has a higher basketball IQ, I believe, than Reggie Bullock. A much higher basketball IQ, which I think is going to lead to a more intelligent style of basketball on the offensive end. Both of these guys have a higher basketball IQ than the two players in the positions that they replaced.
Right.
Right. So I think it's going to lead to a more intelligent style of basketball on the offensive side of the floor. You know what I mean? Which
I agree with that.
To me can only benefit the Knicks and add to gelling and add to, the team being able to gel. You know what I mean? It just adds to that. Now, one thing that I think Andy brought up, and I want to ask you about this, Andy. You brought up before that Evan Fournier is kind of maybe demanding in the locker room. I think it was you who brought that up. Do you foresee that being any kind of an issue with this team, or is that something that this team really needs?
Well, for one, I hope it's not going to be an issue, even if it's going to appear. And I was saying that he was demanding because that was kind of his leadership style. Let's call it that way. He was pointing out things straight up, not going around. Listen, you better do this way, that way, or whatever. He was like, listen, this was a bad move. This was a good move. Do more of this, so we're gonna win. And I think on the Knicks squad, they're gonna have Thibs and the whole coaching staff explaining stuff how to do. And I don't think Fournier, as a new player, is going to be going ahead and demanding other players to do stuff that he wants. He might only enforce things that Thibs wants. So if they're gonna be, if Fournier is gonna be demanding the things that Thibs wants, I don't think that there's gonna be any kind of a problem. And sometimes it's good to have we know that Thibs has Taj in the locker room, that he has D-Rose, but having a new guy like Fournier demanding from the rooks or even from the veteran players, that maybe you can change an angle to set up down low or something like that. Those are things that might be minor tweaks that might help a Julius, even other guys like Obi, Quickly, whoever, right? So if that's going to benefit the whole team, I think that's not going to be a problem. If he's going to try to set up the team just for his benefit, that might go out of hand. But I don't see that happening from Evan Fournier. I think he's too intelligent. And at this stage of his career, not a rookie, not on his first contract, he might be on one of his bigger contracts to be making his name in a stage like New York. That I think with this guy's IQ and team first approach, it's going to be everything as far as it's better for the team. Not for myself, just for the team. So I think it's not going to be a problem, and I hope it's not going to be a problem.
G-Man, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with Andy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the thing that we need to focus on would be how you bring a Kemba Walker and an Evan Fournier into the current structure of the New York Knicks and how that kind of meshes together. I don't think that it's going to be a problem. I think these guys are smart enough to know that, what they bring and the chemistry they bring and how that kind of meshes with the existing chemistry. And with the starting five, that's really what I'm looking for. Game one, I'm looking to see how these guys mesh and meld. How Kemba is in tune with the Julius Randle. How Evan Fournier is in tune with an RJ Barrett, and then how all that capitalizes and get Mitch involved. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I'm looking for as we move forward in the season. And people talk about the summer league and how that all rolls out and the youngins. I call them the youngins, right? What will be their impact on the season moving forward? But first and foremost, when we're talking about a Kemba Walker and an Evan Fournier, I have to believe in my heart of hearts that they will be value added with an RJ, a Julius, and a Mitch at the end of the day. I got to believe that. That's going to happen.
Yeah. I got to believe that as well. It's going to be value added. And I don't know. It's a team that's built on chemistry. The Knicks last season were a team that's built on chemistry. We're hoping that they can add to the chemistry. Can their addition to the chemistry really boost their win total?
Yeah, I think it will, because when you look at the positions that we're talking about, we were lacking last year at the point guard position for sure. And we've upgraded, adding Kemba at that position. So, I don't see why that, I think this, Sam. I think that at the end of the day, you bring scoring, you bring the ability to create your own plays. You bring the ability to make the players around you better. Mm-hmm. I don't see how we're going backwards. I don't see how that's even possible. Now, this is what I want Knicks fans to understand at the same time, right? When we talk about Julius Randle, I think that Julius's point average will diminish, but his efficiency will go up, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he won't have to do as much as he had to do last year because we leaned on him heavily last year. Mm-hmm. But you got players around you now that will keep you from having to be fatigued in the fourth quarter. So whereas your legs may have been a little suspect in the fourth quarter, and you missing shots that you would normally make, now you got people around you that can make those plays for you.
Right.
You don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I hope, and again, hope is not a strategy. I always say that, but I hope Tibbs understands the players that's on the court and how to, rest your vets until we get closer to postseason. Right. I hope that's the case.
Right. And let me get to a phone call here. Then I'm going to get to Evergreen. And soon I'm going to let Evergreen finish up his chicken wings or whatever he got going on. Finish that up. You know what I mean? And then we'll get to Evergreen. We don't need Evergreen getting all everyone in the chat hungry and then they leave the show to go get something to eat. That's not,
Because they ain't ate yet.
You know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Caller, you live, man. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Sim, it's Spree. What's going on?
What's going on, Spree? How you feeling?
Oh, my man, Spree. Salute.
Hey, man. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I got two questions for you. Reggie Bullock, great defender. Mm-hmm. He's a great defender. What we lose defensively, you're okay with it because of what we gained offensively, right?
Correct.
Even because in the Hawks series, they weren't even guarding him. So I think we may take a little step back defensively, maybe a little bit early in the season. I still think we're going to be a good defensive team, but you and I are on the same page that we had to evolve offensively and like you said, take pressure off Julius and be more balanced.
Right. Definitely.
So you're on board with what we've done.
I'm on board with what we've done. I believe that we can play defense in another way. And I'm going to explain this a little bit. The ability to score and put pressure on teams because you can score the ball in a way is also a defensive tactic. Right? Because if I'm playing against you and I don't have to worry about you being able to score the basketball, well, I can relax a little bit on defense and preserve my energy for offense. And so I can come at you a little bit harder, right? But now if I have to really worry about you scoring, now I've got to pick up my defensive intensity, which could affect me on the offensive side of the ball. So I think that, there's a big balance there when it comes to the offensive side and the defensive side. And by adding offense can also add to your defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We also didn't have Mitch last year.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have Mitch. And one thing I totally agree with that you said last night when I had a chance to listen to some of it, Tibbs gave everyone a chance on the roster to play. Everyone at least had one chance. I think it was usually two or three. But like Sim, he gave Knox an opportunity. Knox just lost it. So I'm excited like you, man. I think what they did was right. We bring them all back. Let's reassess. Let's assess all the young pieces. Maybe we make a trade at the deadline. More fish will come in next offseason where we'll have money to play with. We didn't go crazy. We have flexibility. I like our team. I like the chemistry. I like the culture that we're building. Just one quick question. So I knew Frank wouldn't come back after he couldn't get the stop on Trae Young. I agree with you, Sim. They put him in a bad spot. He was cold, but he's got to get that stop. I think McBride can get that stop. If you ask him to come in the game cold, Sim, I think McBride could get that stop on Trae Young. Do you think that's still a terrible position, or do you think McBride gets it done?
I still think it was a terrible position to put Frank in. I do. I just think it was. He hadn't played the entire game, and you bring him in to try to get that stop at that juncture of the game. I just think it was a bad position. I don't know if McBride gets that stop either.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off the bench, cold, and you're playing against a guy who's been killing the. I don't know. I don't know
tough,
if he gets
man.
that stop
it's
either.
Tough. I do like that McBride though. Like, I don't know. I just think he's just a well-rounded player, and he's like a little type. He's a pit bull, Marcus Smart type. Yeah. Frank, I like him as a person. He could never he always left you wanting more. So, Sim, I'm okay. One last thing about the Taj thing. Why did, and I'm cool with Taj. I'm a Taj guy. I like him. But why did the Knicks do what they did to give him the second year? I don't know enough about it. Is it to maybe trade down the line? What does that do for the Knicks?
I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, for Taj, how old is Taj Gibson?
I don't know.
37, 38 years old? Right?
What, 37? 36, 37?
He's 37 to 38, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Right? In my opinion, obviously it can set you up for trades. I don't think they're going to be trading Taj Gibson.
Right.
Right? I think it's a make good, like, hey, okay, he's 36 years old. I think it's kind of we're going to let you rock out till you're 38 and retire Nick.
Okay.
That's kind of
I'm cool with that.
That's kind of what I feel about it. You know what I mean? Listen, Taj Gibson, his father, if you know the story, his father was sick home in Brooklyn. Taj Gibson wants to be home. He don't want to be out in Minnesota. He don't want to be in LA, Miami. Right. He wants to be close to home with his family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it's kind of hey, we're gonna take care of you.
Okay.
Right? Yep.
I mean, look, if anybody were going to take care of, I'd want it to be him. So, I mean, I think I'm cool with it. I still think the Knicks could make a trade. I still think they got some stuff up their sleeve. The one thing about this front office that we can say, Sim, that we haven't been able to say in a long time, they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They clearly know what they're doing. In the draft, they clearly had a plan. Whether or not you agreed with it, that's fine. Whether or not was it frustrating at times to see what are we doing, they had a plan. You saw in the summer league, and to people that say summer league doesn't matter, yeah, I mean, I get it. Overall, you can't go crazy about it, but it does matter. It does matter because you can see right away what skills guys have, and so I think they did a good job, man. But Sim, as always, man, let's hope this thing. Let's have another great year, because if we have one more great year, Sim, I do think the magical piece will come, and we'll be on the magic carpet ride together one day.
All right. Hey, that's a beautiful thing to hear, man. Hey, Spree, I appreciate the time, brother.
All right, man. Later.
Appreciate the time. And for those who don't know, you heard us talking about Taj Gibson and his contract. Well, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Taj Gibson's deal with the Knicks has been restructured. Mm-hmm. His agent, Mark Bartelstein and hopefully I said it correctly, of Priority Sports, tells ESPN Gibson will now sign a 2-year, $10.1 million deal to return to New York. He had originally agreed to a 1-year deal. All right, so now it's 2 years, $10.1 million. Evergreen, just real quick, your thoughts on, why the Knicks would give Taj Gibson a 2-year deal. And I mean, I gave my reasoning why I think it is. And then your thoughts on the chemistry between Kemba, Evan Fournier, and last year's team.
All right, so the 2-year deal is quite obvious that the New York Knicks front office has been tasked with fixing the overall reputation of the organization as a whole, right? So they signed Ty, like you said, I think he's going to retire, Nick. Ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, as far as public relations is concerned, it's the smartest thing you can do with having a New York guy come here, play for quote unquote, a New York coach and retire a New York Knick. It's the best way to get your name buzzing around the league as an organization that truly honors its players. We haven't had anybody honored here and retire a Knick in a long time. We wanted it to be Patrick. That clearly didn't happen. We would have liked it to be Carmelo and Amare. That clearly didn't happen. At some point, people were like, we want it to be Porzingis, but that clearly wasn't going to happen. So at what point in time do you get to honor a legitimate New Yorker with, letting him retire from the city that he played for? It didn't happen with Mark Jackson. So you got to start, and the foundation is easy to lay based off of the way the rest of the team's contracts are set. So giving him these, $5 million for the next, $5 million for $5 million a year for the next 2 years, it's easy for him to do that. You can tell that Taj Gibson's on his last leg. He gets out there and he puts it all on the floor for 8 to 10 minutes like Udonis Haslem does. You don't have that big expectation for him to do much. So for that $5 million, or $10 million over 2 years restructured is an amazing deal, if you ask me. All for the purpose of knowing that he's going to be up out of here at 38. I foresee him being a coach on this team, or at least a coach, a player development coach within this organization, and really being able to take the name of take the name of the Knicks organizations from a player standpoint, and getting people to say, you know what, if Taj Gibson was able to retire there, then this might be a place that I actually want to go and play. And this is outside of what the players themselves are doing on the court and winning, because we all say that winning heals everything, but that's not necessarily true. I don't think that to be necessarily true. You can still have that bad reputation in the league, but you can still have that player camaraderie once a player does actually get onto your team. I think that doing this for Taj Gibson will give a nice ring around the rest of the league and say, hey, if this is a place that I want to play for, if this is a team that I want to play for, I highly consider it based off of the way they treated Taj Gibson, and that's going to ring around the league. Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, I don't have a problem with them. I don't see any issues with them being able to gel at all. This team belongs to Tom Thibodeau's and nobody else but Tom Thibodeau's. Every single team, with the exception of that 1 year in Minnesota, they all gelled because they all fell under a system. Even right now, you can see Kemba Walker is immediately acquiescing to what Tom Thibodeau wants, even based off of this the press conference. Am I going to be playing back-to-backs? I don't know. You got to ask Tibbs, because everybody knows who the alpha dog really is on this team. It's not a Julius Randle. It's not a R.J. Barrett. It's not Mitchell Robinson. It's not going to be Kemba, and it's not going to be Evan Fournier. It's going to be Tom Thibodeau. And what he says is what's going to go. So if you're not gelling, you will be riding the bench, regardless of how many 4-time All-Stars and All-NBAs and how many big shots you hit in the Garden. Like, I don't think any of that matters to Tibbs. What matters to Tibbs is pure professionalism and production. And if you're not getting that, you're not going to play. But because Kemba's from Soundview, I know he's going to produce. You know what I'm saying? I know what he's going to do. He's going to get you buckets when you need it. He's going to get you, a high amount of production. And who knows, let's see if he's got the team around him to really, break his own records and what he's done for assists in his career. I think he has that ability to acquiesce, and I hope that his play will push us to the next level. I know it will, so I'm not worried about that. We got the number 4 spot this season.
Okay. Well, it seems already that Kemba and Tom Thibodeau have a good relationship, and that relationship is going to boil over to the regular season. He'll end up being another guy that can really spread Tom Thibodeau's message throughout the team. Obviously, Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, they've been here. They know how to spread that message, and I think that's a big reason Taj Gibson is going to be around, because, he's come under. He's one of Tom Thibodeau's disciples. You know what I'm saying? And he's there to continue to spread that message to the players. And I think the fact that a large portion of this team remain together, it's going to be a strength for the Knicks, because it's like, hey, we established this culture. If you can't come into what we do, then we'll kick you out. You know, and I think that's a big part of keeping these guys together the way that they did. Let me get to another phone call here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name, where you're from.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Tony.
What's going on, Tony?
I'm in Florida now, but I'm originally from Harlem.
All right, no doubt.
All right.
What's
Yeah, you know, it's really great to be on with you guys. I really like you guys' show. You guys let me on during playoff time last season, and I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you.
Gave me a little bit of education.
Appreciate you.
So I just wanted to take a little bit of homage with what gentleman just said about who's the leader of that team. I think very much Julius Randle has emerged as the leader of that team. And I think with the new players coming in, you know, Fournier and Kemba, I think they're not going to have too much of a problem deferring to him. But I honestly think the one thing that really works out for us is the reason why Julius emerged as that leader is because, you know, the other players have kind of followed his work ethic. You know, they all get off the plane with him now and do the Kobe Bryant thing where they go find a gym and they go all shoot around.
Right.
You know, what I actually like about having Kemba and having Fournier on the team as in regards to Julius Randle and being the leader of the team is one of the things that comes with being the all-around best scorer is people follow you. They follow your work ethic. Julius has one glaring issue, and I really want to get you guys' opinion on that. Defensively, Julius has an issue, and I haven't been to the games, but I kind of am good at reading lips. I used to be a paramedic, so I kind of could look at people and kind of figure out what they're saying from a distance. He blames a lot of people for his defensive mistakes, especially on closeouts. You know, I look at him yell at people, and I'm like, well, that was your man, Julius. I don't know why you're yelling at this guy. And having maybe a Fournier and Kemba there who can also score and also can, you know, say to Julius, hey, Julius. You know, maybe they could check him a couple of times, you know, having other players of his caliber with him, you know. But again, like I said, ultimately, Julius Randle, he is the leader of that team. So that's about it.
Okay. All right. You know, I'm one person who believes in, like, a group kind of naturally forms their leader, you know, when that group gets together. Like,
Right.
this team is going to be different than last year's team. We can talk all we want about culture, and it's great to have these guys still here, and then, you know, let the culture, and hopefully the culture continues from last season and the foundation that they built. But once you add new players, everything changes, right? You never know who's gonna rub this person the right way or wrong way, and how people are gonna interact with each other, right? And then you never know, once you get into that locker room, whose personality rises above the rest, or who all of the players gravitate to. Because the leader is not who scores the most. The leader is not who the coach says the leader is. A lot of times, on a team, the leader is someone you don't even know. I mean, Taj Gibson could be the leader. Taj Gibson could be the one that's, hey, everybody come here. We need to talk right now. And everyone's listening to Taj. You know, so it's hard for, you know, that's why the teams create, the players themselves really create the leaders. Someone could be a captain in name. That may not mean anything. The player on the team that everyone else responds to is the actual leader. So it's hard to say who it is. But I understand what you're saying about Julius Randle. And, you know, because of what he's done last year, he's been a big part of reforming this team and you know, people kind of being built, or the players kind of taking on his work ethic, if you want to say, you know, from what he did during the off season last year when everybody was off and really got himself in shape. Tom Thibodeau at the beginning of the training camp said that I was really impressed with Julius Randle because he came in such great shape. So yes, he's been that. I don't know how much we want to say vocal leader, but he's at least been a leader by example. And I think a lot of people have come right under his wing and said, okay, we'll do it. Just like you said, with them getting off the plane and going to a gym every time they stop in the city. So I agree with you there. He's definitely been that.
You know what? It's one more thing, like just being able to talk to you guys. You know, I just realized this second time that I've spoken to you guys that I really hate saying I'm from Florida.
I love the fact that I live in
Florida. The same way you do. The first thing I gotta say, yeah, I'm from Florida. I can feel the resentment coming through the phone. I grew up in Harlem.
Hey, listen. Hey, that's all you gotta do. You say, "This is where I'm from. This is where I'm at." That's right. Just like you did it, bro. Just like you did it.
It ain't where you're from. It's where you're at.
Thanks a lot, guys, for listening to me.
I appreciate
Have a
you,
good
man.
one.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Have a good one.
And look, I'm gonna tell you this. I promise you, he's not hating the fact that we don't pay state taxes. I promise you that. I promise you that.
Yeah. De La Music 50 said Julius' work ethic with a question mark and leader by example. No, I don't know if he's saying that condescendingly, or if he's serious. But
This is what I believe is going to happen this year. I believe that that there will be a co-leadership type event going on with the starting five, bringing in Kemba and Julius. They're gonna have to gel. They are going to have to gel. Julius last year had the majority of the load. People were expecting him to be that guy, which he evolved into the point forward. I need Kemba to be the guy to say, Julius, guess what? I don't need for you to handle the ball anymore. That's my job. That's my role. I need for you to go out there and do what you do and make us great. You know what I'm saying? Between Julius and I want to see how Julius and Kemba gel. That's what I'm going to be looking for.
yeah.
Game one. I mean, the first game.
Yeah. And talking about the first game, there's been a couple of early dates released. But before we get to those dates, I want to talk about some key dates. These are key dates for the entire NBA that we should be looking out for, ladies and gentlemen. First key date, and I have the wrong one up on the screen. I'm sorry. What you see on the screen right now are the Knicks, the early dates, the early scheduled dates. October 20th, the Knicks play the Celtics. First game of the season. December 25th, the Knicks on ESPN on Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. They sliced us last year, or whenever the year was. Last year, the year before, whatever, they sliced us. They took us out. We're back. We play the Hawks on Christmas, December 25th, 12 p.m. Yeah. Now we can get to some important dates, key NBA dates. The next key date that we have coming up, ladies and gentlemen, is September the 28th. That's when training camp begins. And what a training camp is going to be. It's going to be a really, really good training camp, man. It's going to be battles all over the team. We got battles. I think the biggest battle is for the backup point guard spot or backup guard spot between Emmanuel Quickley and Deuce McBride. I think that's one of your biggest battles. But I also think Quentin Grimes is going to stay the case for playing. I think there's going to be a battle between the two centers. And I think, everyone slots Mitchell Robinson in there, but the Knicks played pretty well with Nerlens Noel. You know what I'm saying? So, there might be a battle there. And Jericho Sims is going to have something to say as well about.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously he's not going to start, and I don't think he gets any playing time over Nerlens Noel, but I think he's going to make a case at least. So there's going to be some good things to watch out for. And now Obi Toppin is coming on. Is he going to overtake Julius Randle? No, but he may carve out some minutes from Julius Randle, which maybe Julius Randle might be happy for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So,
the thing that Sims, the thing that I'm looking forward to, and I wish we could view this, would be practice. I want to see the New York Knicks practice because these young fellas that we're talking about right now, based on what I saw in the summer league, they're gonna be looking for a spot. So I'm not saying that they're gonna interject themselves in the starting five, but that second unit, guys need to be nervous. I'm telling you right now, they need to be nervous because the young guns are coming. That's all, they coming.
They're coming. They're definitely coming, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Training camp begins September the 28th, and then October the 19th is when the regular season begins. And as we mentioned earlier, the Knicks they don't play on October the 19th. They play on October the 20th versus the Boston Celtics. All right, which obviously that's going to be a really fun opening game with Kemba Walker going up against his former team. You can't even count OKC as his former team. The Boston Celtics are his former team. That's going to be a fun one to watch there. So
facts.
Now, and taking Kemba Walker's spot with the Boston Celtics is Dennis Schroeder.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, so that's that's going to be a nice little game to start the season.
Right.
All right. And going into 2022, February 18th through the 20th, that's the NBA All-Star Weekend. The regular season concludes on April the 10th. April 12th through the 15th is the play-in tournament. April 16th begins the playoffs. The NBA Finals begins on June the 2nd. Game 7 of the NBA Finals, if necessary, is on June 19th. And then the NBA Draft is on June 23rd. And we will be back in Atlantic City for the NBA Draft. At least with the way things are right now, we'll be back in Atlantic City. So those are some key dates that are coming forward. The biggest of them all is September 28th. Not the biggest of them all, but the biggest upcoming date is September 28th for training camp. I can't wait. Can't wait.
For sure.
Let me get to a phone call here. Caller, you live. What's your name? Where you from?
How's it going, gents? It's Nick in Jersey.
What's going on, Nick? How you feeling?
Doing good. I listened to the press conference today, and I liked what I heard from both guys. It was really good.
Yeah, really good. Really good. Kemba Walker, I mean, obviously he's from New York, but, he just seems natural with everything he was saying. He's been in the league a while, so obviously he knows how to handle the press. The relationship between him and Tom Thibodeau already seems to be pretty good. They've known each other for a while, so I'm excited, man. Watching the press conference today just made me more excited and can't wait to get out. Not get out there.
Absolutely.
I'm saying get out there.
They were both saying the right things, and you could tell it was sincere too.
Yeah, sincere, very sincere, very sincere. Any other thoughts you have on the press conference or anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up. You guys were talking about the minutes. Not to. I'm not. This is not directed to you guys per se, but it's just I want to offer a contrarian idea. Is there any evidence at all that playing an extra few minutes at the end of these games is really going to hurt somebody? I mean, that's all I hear Knicks fans talk about. And I went on basketballreference.com and I looked up the history of the league, the pace, the statistic, which is pace, which is average possessions per team, right? You times that by 2, so that's how many times you're running back and forth up the court. You multiply that by the length of the court. I mean, these guys, if they're playing an extra, Julius Randle ended up maybe running another quarter of a mile every game than a guy who's averaging 4 minutes less than him. And it's like, you look at this and you compare it to the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, these guys were in worse condition back then. And they were running more. You know what I mean? Which you wouldn't think, because you think that it's a faster paced game now, but actually, I don't have it right in front of me, but the last couple of years is like, of the 50 plus seasons in the NBA, it's like middle of the pack. The 70s were actually a quicker time in terms of the pace of the league. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, are these athletes really that fragile that at the end of the season they end up having run 20 more miles over the course of a whole year, and that's going to break them down and end their careers prematurely? I think it's a bunch of crap, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any evidence for it.
I don't know. If there's evidence for it. I don't know. I mean, look, there's going to be
I want, yeah.
There's going to be load management this year with some of these guys. There has to be, with Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose. So we'll have to get used to that.
Yep.
Absolutely. And there should be. I'm not against that. I think they should be splitting the time, and I'm fine with them getting some rest. Because then we'll see some McBride in there, we'll see some Grimes in there. That's good. But this notion that it's like, oh, this guy, Julius Randle is averaging 37 minutes per game instead of 35. Therefore, that means whatever. That means he's running another 20 miles over the course of a whole calendar year. Mm-hmm. It's like, there are guys I know, including myself, that do that, on a weekly basis, and we're not in shape. You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen,
it's okay. It's not jeopardizing their career.
Right.
If Randall was playing in 1995, he would have been not even in the top 20 minutes per game.
Yeah, I'll say this: your best players play.
Yeah.
Your best player is going to be on the floor. You know what I mean? And if you go look at, I think Randall was somewhere around 37 minutes a game, and some of your top players in the NBA were 35 minutes, 36 minutes. Now, would I expect this year I think Randall took one game off last year or something like that?
Yeah, right. He took a game off. He played 40. No, yeah, he took one game off.
One game off? I would expect maybe this year if Obi Toppin comes on his own. But even if he doesn't, show up the way that we would like him to, because you got Fournier and Kemba Walker, you can say, you know what, let's give him a day. Let's give him a day to rest. He's been playing, 37, 38, 40 minutes for the past 2 weeks. Let's give him a day. You might have the luxury to do that this year without actually cutting their minutes per game, but just say, hey, we can give you a game off.
Right. Especially against a subpar team at home or something like that,
Yeah. Right. Yep. But you know what? I'm not as worried as most people. I would like to see. I'm really just worried about Rose and Kemba.
Me too.
RJ Barrett, Julius Randle. I'm not worried about it. Let them guys ball out. They're young, man. Let them play. That's how I feel about it. Let them play. I'm not worried about it.
Right. Just keep your legs for the playoffs.
Yeah. And by having this extra support there, I think, in game. See what happens is, in my opinion, last year, especially with Julius Randle, with everything being run through him, he could never get a chance to get a break on the court.
Right.
So while he's playing 38 to 40 minutes, he rarely had the time where he could just sit in the corner and let everybody else go to work, and then he jogged back down to the other end. The ball had to be in his hands, and so he was constantly working. I think that was part of him tiring down. This year, if he's playing 37, 38 minutes, 4 or 5 of those minutes, he might be resting on the court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it helps to preserve the energy a little bit,
Absolutely. Kemba's going to make his life a lot easier.
Yeah. And those guys need to learn tricks. You got to learn some tricks of the trade sometimes. You get to the foul line, make sure your shoe's untied. Something. You know what I mean? Like, learn some of those tricks of the trade to get arrested.
That's good.
I like that.
That's good.
I like that.
Yeah. Evergreen?
All right. So I got to agree with the caller, man, because this is something that's been bugging me as well. Especially when you're dealing with a coach, quote unquote, like Tom Thibodeau. The narrative is bullcrap about playing too many minutes. The idea doesn't re-manifest itself in the league until a player that plays a lot of minutes gets injured, not just when he gets injured playing the game. It only manifests itself when he gets injured in a time where everybody knows that player should have been off the floor, i.e., let's go all the way back to 2009 with the Derrick Rose injury, right? When Derrick Rose got hurt,
Chicago was up by like 15, and he should have been on the bench, right? So when he blew his knee out the first time, everybody's like, what the heck is Tom Thibodeau doing? He should have been gone. He's playing him too many minutes. Mind you, he was already averaging 33, 34 minutes a game. Nobody bats an eye up until the injury, right? So again, the narrative only manifests itself not just when a player is playing too much, but when a player is injured when he should have been out of the game already playing too much, right? So I think we're in a very compelling position with these players, with Kemba Walker, with Derrick Rose, as far as sharing minutes at the point guard position, where we have enough depth starting point guard side. And even if we go into that third string in the bench point guards and decide to pull up McBride at the point guard position or pull up quickly to play some minutes at the point guard position, to where that shouldn't be an issue for us, at least at the point guard position, because we know that those two guys that between Kemba and Derrick Rose have a very horrific injury injury history, especially Derrick Rose, who seemed to have really turned his career around within the last 2 years. So I think hopefully Tom Thibodeau has learned from the past, which, based off of somebody being extremely healthy in Julius Randle, it kind of shows that he didn't, because there should have been games where Julius Randle should have been benched when we were up by 20 or up by 15, and he's like, no, we're going to put the pedal to the metal. But again, that argument won't come up unless somebody gets hurt. If nobody's hurt, then everyone is fine. I'm telling you, it's going to happen this season. We're gonna have a few games where we're up by 10, 15, and the whole starting lineup's gonna be in a game, and some of us are gonna be complaining about it, but we're gonna get to the wrap-up shows, and nobody's gonna mention it because we won the game or something like that, or because
nobody got hurt.
So just take that in consideration. Don't worry about what all these other people are talking about, because they're clearly trying to fill some biased propaganda notion, which fits into, load management and all this other crap. Like that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Okay. As long as nobody gets hurt, just think about it like this. When you were slap boxing with your brother when y'all was kids, nobody started complaining until somebody started crying.
Yeah.
Your mother didn't come in the room with the belt.
That's true.
You guys are in there fighting each other and throwing kitchen knives at each other, but as long as nobody's hurt,
as long as everybody was quiet,
right,
everything was good. As soon as she heard the scream, she wasn't mad because somebody was hurt. She was mad because her quiet was cut off. Hey, caller, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Yeah, that was. You're right. Everything was cool till somebody got hurt.
Right. As long as nobody's hurt, everyone's good. So we just got to worry about not getting hurt. That's it.
Yeah, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Kemba, Evan Fournier press conference. We had some key dates. We got October the 20th. We play the Boston Celtics. December the 25th. We're at the Atlanta Hawks, so we go to Atlanta Hawks on Christmas Day. The season's opener is at home versus the Boston Celtics. So, we know we got those things there. And, hopefully we're going to have a full garden, a full arena, and we can get a group to attend.
Oh, I was just getting ready to ask.
That's what we're trying to do, baby. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get a group to attend. I don't know if we're going to be in the suite this year. Last year when I tried to, when I was talking to them about the suite, there was like $15K. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. What's going on? That's, $400 or $500 per person. So I don't know, but we might be cool with just some regular seats.
2019 season opener was fun, man. Actually,
man.
What's funny about that is, Kemba Walker had 22 points in the first half of that season opener in 2019 against us, and now we got him. So, hey, man, Salvi, stand up, man. We looking good right now.
Right. Yeah. The last season opener we went was Knicks versus Celtics. And I think Kodak Touch says we're home on Christmas. I don't think so.
Yeah, we are. We're supposed to be home against Atlanta.
Yeah, I think both games we're home, I think. The opener and the Christmas game.
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. December 25th at 12 p.m., not at Atlanta. Yes, both games are home. My bad. Sorry about that. Yeah, both games are home. The season opener, October 20th, obviously. The season opener, the season opener is home. Season opener is the home opener. And then on Christmas Day, Atlanta comes to New York. It's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Both of them are going to be fun. I can't wait for it, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, with the way things have gone this year, everything is just happening quick. Boom, 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 boom. So in just 30 days, we'll be at training camp, and we'll probably get a few preseason games, 4 or 5 preseason games really quick, and then we'll get to the regular season. It's going to be on and popping. There we go. I do want to remind you, everybody, please make sure when you leave this stream, go into the description of this video, click on the link to Evan Fournier's tweet, and then just say, hey, Evan Fournier, make sure you go on Nothing But Knicks. Go on Legion of Knicks. Go on Die Hard Knicks. Go on Knicks and Bruises. Give him the whole NBK fam gambit. All right? He said he's down to go on to a couple of podcasts. We got to talk to him. He's got to hear that fans want, where do the fans want him to go? Where do the fans want to see him? So make sure you go into the description of this video and click that link. Send a tweet to him. Tell him, show up on Nothing But Knicks. Join the NBK family. You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to do. Hey, Andy, any last words before we get out of here?
Yeah, it was fun to be joining you, Sim, and then the panel and the chat. Like we said at the beginning, the content is coming right, maybe next couple of days. So keep you guys posted. Watch those notifications. Me and Sim are going to be probably doing some Coach's Corner episodes for the Rooks after the Summer League. What we saw, what we expect for the season. And, till that, those episodes ran out, it's probably going to be preseason. So
that's right. Evergreen.
All right. So once again, everybody like, comment, subscribe, do the whole 9 yards. Make sure you do what Sim said regarding Evan Fournier. Everybody, please remind Andy that he's got to remove that Frank Ntilikina poster that he's got posted up there. As much as I like Frank too, you got to let bygones be bygones. Let's see. This is going to be a very exciting season. Everybody make sure they keep tuning in. There's tons of NBK content out there for your viewership between now and October. We say October 20th. So, this might be the biggest NBK season coming up. This might be the season where the NBK family as a whole explodes. Right, and it all is going to happen based off of the input that we get from the fans, the input that we get from the amount of work that everybody's putting in. So peace and love, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and go Knicks.
Yeah, no doubt. We appreciate you. Peace, everybody. Spread love. NBK way.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.